Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live from I55. You are watching the Dirt Revival Tour. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mac Nelson, and you are watching Jeffrey Hyatt qualify here. I apologize for the technical difficulties already. If I hit this button, you should be able to see the timings in just a second. Like I said, guys, I very much apologize for this. Bear with me here while I reset the entire scoring tower, the entire system. And if I'm not mistaken, now you should be able to see it. But it appears you are not. So instead, I'm just going to inform you that you are on board with Tyler Bickford right there, who ran a 12-1-2. That puts him in current P4. Samuel Lawson, one of the qualifiers, he has qualified in pole, provisional pole, with a 11.86. So a very good lap there from Samuel Lawson. As, once again, guys, I really do apologize. This is a very strange problem. One that I was not encountering not 10 minutes ago. So big apologies on that one. And you are still not seeing it. Zachary Metzner is currently qualifying. Now Zach Weisenfluh and Brandon Jones are out there. Zach Weisenfluh coming up on his first timed lap here. This, once again, I apologize, I hate to be a broken record. An extremely weird problem. I apologize for that in the middle of your screen. That will be gone in just 1 second. I promise that. Okay, so we should have something now. And unfortunately, we just do not. What in the world is going on? Bobby Buchanan Jr. is currently qualifying right now in that 31 super late model. He qualifies in P8 with an 11.91. And Robbie Buchanan Jr. actually went P2 with an 11.72, just 0.03 of a second off K-Dub, who is currently sitting in pole, the number 24 super late model of K-Dub. Like I said, guys, I really do apologize for this. And sorry, guys, I'm going to go quiet here as I try. I really want to get this figured out for you guys. I apologize completely for this. I'm trying to keep it on drivers that are actually qualifying. We got Brandon Shots. You guys are watching right now. Oh, I apologize for that. Brandon Shots and I believe Kenneth Davis you're watching there. Good. I'm really unaware on what the problem could be. Which is not good. That is obviously not what anybody would have wanted to hear coming into this broadcast. I know the DRT is very elite. This is a very elite group of guys here. The upper echelon of drivers. And I can't seem to get the most important part working right now. So very, very, very unfortunate here. We will see. Unfortunately, guys, I might just have to bring you the broadcast in a very bare bones way where you have no idea of seeing who's in what position, what the timings are, what the lap times are. That oh, hang on. I'm sorry, gentlemen. We have something. This is not at all what this is supposed to be, but we might have to work with it. we'll see if this one works now. The one... Oh my goodness. Gentlemen, we are here. Wow, this is ungodly big. I'm so sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. I will right this hopefully final wrong. And, okay, now it's a little big, but we can work with big. Pause. All right, ladies and gentlemen, finally, absolutely finally, welcome to the Dirt Revival Tour. You are tuning in to round 2 here at I55, Federated Parts, something like that. And we have already concluded qualifying. I'm so unearthly sorry for that technical difficulty that took us a long time to settle. So I apologize about that. But your current pole sitter is Kevin Walker, K-Dub, in that number 24 super late model. Going down to your top 10, you've got Carson Jenkins, Robbie Buchanan Jr., the Big H Hayden Tollison, Diesel Jones, Ethan Stuckwish, James Murphy, Samuel Lawson, Dylan Del Mastro, and Zachary Metzner. That is your top 10 here tonight. And if you notice, there's a glaring, and I mean glaring, mark on this grid here tonight. We don't see Jesse Newsom inside of that top 5. Someone who in the miniseries, he was a dominant force. He won 3 out of the 4 races in the miniseries. Came home your miniseries champion. However, not in the top 5 or even the top 10 for qualifying here tonight. You'll actually see him down in P22 in that number 11 super late model. Someone is out on track. I don't know who that is. That is Brandon Bolton. Actually going to qualify, or he has decided not to qualify. The driver from Walton, Kentucky. And as we wrap up qualifying here, the amazing team at DRT gave me the time that I needed to sort out my SDK and all of that malarkey. So, a big ups to them. Appreciate that. It's always nice when you have league admins and race control who like to coordinate and kind of plan their attack around the broadcaster. I really do appreciate that. As we get set to go here in our heat race number 1, let me pull up the info here for you guys tonight, as the key takeaways is not exactly there. I do apologize for that again. 70 degrees, 95% humidity in the air. We are humid. It's not the heat that'll get you. It is the humidity here at Peevely. Partly cloudy, winds of 14 miles per hour should not upset these cars too much, especially being inside the bowl that is I-55. And as we get set here to go into heat race number 1, I'm not entirely sure why it's taking this long. I apologize for that. The sponsors for the series here, they sponsored the mini-series. They're also going to sponsor the big season. So you've got Elite Science and Graphics out of Zanesville, Ohio. You've got More Metalworks, Welding and Fabrication. And if you guys want to learn anything more about these sponsors, please head over to the Discord. It is linked. I believe it is a command inside of the streams. You can do exclamation mark DRT, I think. Willie T Performance, another sponsor, Coast to Coast Sim Sports, who houses a lot of the drivers here tonight. In your Dirt Revival Tour, your mini-series champion, Jesse Newsome, is a coast-to-coast driver. And we are finally gridding up for heat race number 1. We'll walk you through that grid here real quick. In row 5 is going to be Brandon Bolton and Jason Wilson. Row 4 is going to be Casey Borgmeyer and Tyler Bickford. P6 is going to be Scott Merrick, the Zimbabwean driver. I don't know if that's how you say that. I apologize. In your 5th spot, we've got Daryl Bass representing Twisted Speed, the number 90. He's always at the forefront of some high-level racing here. In P4 is going to be Colton Jordan. P3 is going to be Dylan Del Mastro representing Midwest Sim Sports. In outside the pole row, we have Diesel Jones, the Burkina Fasoian driver. I don't know if that's how you say that either. These the flag update in iRacing really brought some diverse crowds here to the service. You love to see it. And in your pole position for tonight's heat race number 1, Kevin Walker, K-Dub out of HRE Sim Sports. He is in that number 24 super late model. As it actually looks like he might be in a 14 now instead of a 24. So a little bit of a number change for K-Dub. He pulls the trigger early, and we are racing here at I-55. K-Dub absolutely ripping that top side. Trying to make his way around this course the best way he know how. The Colton Jordan right there, ready to pressure. We're only 3 laps into the first heat race, and we've already got a battle. If that doesn't tell you the level of skill that these Dirt Revival Tour drivers have, I don't know what will. Colton Jordan just right up on that back bumper as, whoa, Colton Jordan. A little bit of dark arts there. Scott Merrick becoming a wizard somewhat of himself. So in these heat races, guys, we're going to have as many heats as it takes to get through the grid of drivers. I was not informed on a number for tonight. So, ooh, Colton Jordan with a move on K-Dub. Not gonna work out. He got no momentum coming out of that corner, and they're rubbing again, Colton Jordan and Kevin Walker. We are racing here at I-55. Top 2 advance out of your heat. So in a sense, there's really no need for the top 2 to be doing this battle, and Scott Merrick gonna come through. He's gonna insert himself into the picture. Or at least try to with a hell of an effort with that slider. As we are white flag racing here. One more corner for Colton Jordan. One more corner for K-Dub. It's gonna be Colton Jordan. As Colton Jordan takes a very, very aggressive dive into the wall there on the outside of turn 1 going into turn 2. As that is going to be Colton Jordan and K-Dub qualifying out of that heat. Getting set for heat race number 2. We've got Justin Byram representing Coast to Coast Sim Sports. Michael Coate on the inside of him. P8 is going to be Brandon Jones. P7, Zach Weisenfla. Row 3, you're going to see Jesse Newsome, your mini-series champion. Zach Gold in P5. Justin Sick in P4. Zachary Metzner in 3rd. Outside your pole row is going to be Ethan Stuckwish. And your pole sitter for heat race number 2, Carson Jenkins. Which, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me correctly, he was the pole sitter for the feature last week. I don't know how true that is, but as we take a look there at Justin Byram's number 19 super late model with a really, really good looking two-tone picture of himself there on the driver information. What a way to use that app. All these drivers can fill out whatever information they want about themselves. It will show up on the stream. Carson Jenkins says he doesn't care about the info. He wants the win. As we are going to get started here early, Zachary Metzner in that mint number 17 super late model, as he's got a nice picture as well. And we are yellow here. Not entirely sure what happened, as my scoring tower is not crediting anyone to crashing. None of the drivers have hit the pit lane, so I'm not entirely sure. That might have been a car just maybe turned around going the wrong direction on the track. I'm not entirely sure there, as Carson Jenkins is actually gonna be in the back. So not entirely sure what happened there. But here we go, the iRacing pace truck about to pull off. They are bundled up. 35 in the blue and orange, looking like prime Kevin Durant is Ethan Stuckwish. He is going to find just a little less drive than he wanted to in that opening corner, but he is going to hit turn 3 and 4 almost perfectly, as he has jumped out to a big lead, almost half a second already over Zachary Metzner. The two drivers representing Midwest Sim Sports, if they could get a front row lockout and get both transfer spots, that would be very, very ideal for the Midwest Sim Sports camp. As we take a look here at Zachary Metzner, Jesse Newsom, who, in case you've been living under a rock, he's probably got the most stock when it comes to performance here in this Dirt Revival Tour. Currently outside of a transfer spot, which has already happened twice in the 5 races he has raced in the DRT, 4 being in the miniseries, 1 being the opening round last week. He had to come and qualify in the LCQ in the B main twice out of those 5 races, and I believe one of them he won. So, not exactly the worst spot for Jesse Newsom. Some might even say this is exactly where he wants to be. As we get prepared for heat race number 3 here at I55 in row number 5, we've got Preston Shepard, Blake Culver, the Fusion setup shop driver. Kyle Davis and Brandon Schatz will make up your row number 4. Row number 3 is going to consist of Braden Moore and Mason Cassidy, with P4 being Tyson Banks, P3 Nate Wimhoff. P2 is going to be James Murphy representing Twisted Speed, and Robbie Buchanan Jr. is going to be your pole sitter for tonight's heat race number 3. Robbie Buchanan Jr. has the button here in that number 31 super late model. As these guys are going to bundle up get real close to each other, get ready to release into the track. As Robbie Buchanan, as soon as that pace truck pulls in, he was out of there. Like lightning in a bottle. Robbie Buchanan Jr. already out to a 9/10 of a second lead. James Murphy in that 65 car. He's got two people pressuring him for a position swap. They want to transfer in this heat. They do not want to have to go to an LCQ. Nate Wimhoff going to try his luck. He does not fare that well as he is still behind James Murphy. Still a lot of racing to go in terms of heat racing. A lot can happen in the span of 6 laps. It's been a nice infield view of Nate Wimhoff there. Absolutely cooking those tires, taking the corner. You've only got 10 laps. You might as well use them. As he is getting flirted with by Mason Cassidy. Or that P3 spot, I should say, is getting flirted with. These two drivers, if I'm not mistaken, have already gone to war one time. That was at Charlotte. Inside of a heat race as well, I believe. As we're almost 3 wide, we are 3 wide. Heading into turn 1, we are 2 to go. James Murphy has his spot on lock. The transfer spots are pretty much marked up. As Nate Wimhoff goes around one final time. Mason Cassidy's going to have a look. He's not going to get anything done. Nate Wimhoff is going to walk home P3. A good starting spot in one of the B mains for Nate Wimhoff. As we get set here for heat race number 4, I believe. It's sad that I can't keep track of that. But here we go for your grid here for heat race number 4. We've got Kenneth Davis sitting in P10. Joseph Pratt in P9. Jonathan Snyder is going to be P8. Willie T, yes, on screen at the exact perfect time. That Willie T performance you see in the top right throughout the night. That's him. That is William Thayer. Row 3 is going to be Danny Miles, Jeffrey Hyatt. Row 2 is going to be Ian Lindell and Deese Price. Samuel Lawson is going to be P2 with your pole sitter, the Big H, the 327, Hayden Tollison. So here we go, an amazing number 44 there by Samuel Lawson. One of the best liveries I've seen here tonight. As they're beating and banging already, that is Samuel Lawson and Ian Lindell getting into it. Someone's up there on the wall, I believe that is Danny Miles. Yes, that is the C2C driver, Danny Miles. Hayden Tollison already out to a half-second lead over Deese Price. Hayden Tollison runs purple there with a 12.36. Deese Price coming in behind him with a 12.53. As Ian Lindell is trying his best for a move on Deese Price. Unfortunately, he just cannot seem to get it to stick. Deese Price running the exact middle of the track. Excellent defending from anybody running high or low. And Hayden Tollefson, seeing all this, is just stretching his lead out, consistent lap after lap. That's a 12.35 for him last go around. D's Price also running good lap times, 12.37. Ian Lindell unfortunately falling off the pace just a tiny bit. Billy T, William Thayer is up 2 positions. So good from him. Danny Miles is in the pit lane. Not entirely sure what happened to him. But he has decided to pack it up early in this heat. He'll have another chance in the LCQ. But Hayden Tollefson is your winner. D's Price in behind him, 0.7 of a second back. Sorry, guys. Ian Lindell also in that P3 spot, so he'll have a good starting spot for one of the mains. Which, here we go. We are starting now. It is our first B main of the night. We take top 5 here. So you want to be in one of those top 5 positions. Going over the grid for this, we've got Braden Moore in P16. As I'm getting a notification in my headset. Somebody is telling me right now, I believe this is Chase Copeland from the DRT staff team. He's saying top 6 out of the B mains, not top 5. He also called me a freaking idiot. So, there we go. You have all the permission in the world to badmouth him in the Discord. Go ahead and do that for me. Tell him I sent you. And we will stop the bullying from Chase. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Your grid in P16 is going to be Brandon Bolton. P15 is going to be Braden Moore. Kyle Davis is going to be P14. P13 is going to be Jason Wilson. P12, Blake Culver. P11, Casey Borgmeyer. P10, Preston Shepard. P9, Tyler Bickford. Row 4 is going to be Brandon Schatz and Diesel Jones. Row 3 is going to be Tyson Banks and Daryl Bass. P4 is going to be Mason Cassidy with Dylan Domastro inside the row number 2. Nate Wimhoff in P2. And your pole sitter, Scott Merrick. As we get set to go racing here, 12 laps. Laps here at I55. These drivers desperately fighting for a spot in the main event of the evening. As we got Tyson Banks, who is currently the bubble driver. He is in P6. So everything behind him will not transfer. He runs purple as well by a whole 10th. He is cooking. Looking to keep his spot in the main. Scott Merrick doing everything he can to keep Nate Wimhoff, Daryl Bass, and Mason Cassidy off his heels. Unfortunately for Diesel Jones, he has dropped back a few spots. He is now in P7. He is your first driver out with Schatz, Borgmeyer, Culver, all currently being out as well. Which would make for a very, very wild feature race. Those two were not in it. Tyson Banks here, still on that bubble spot. Now it goes to Diesel Jones. who has overtaken him on the high side. He's looking for more, wanting to split the two drivers ahead of him. That's Mason Cassidy and Dylan Del Mastro. But now with that little hiccup, Tyson Banks is back on the heels. As your current Dylan Del Mastro is now it's Diesel Jones again. These guys are going crazy. 2 laps to go. Scott Merrick, Daryl Bass, Nate Wimhoff, Mason Cassidy are good. Diesel Jones and Dylan Del Mastro are currently qualifying, but if Tyson Banks can make one run coming into the final corner, he's going to send it with everything he's got. He is not able to get it done. That is Diesel Jones and Dylan Del Mastro coming out of that. Brandon Schatz, Tyson Banks, Tyler Bickford, Casey Borgmeyer, all eliminated. Their nights are over. Wow, crazy. Absolute crazy finish there. Oh my goodness. We've still got one more to go. So like I said, taking the top 6. Your grid for tonight's race. In row 8, you've got Danny Miles, Michael Coate. In row 7, you've got Kenneth Davis representing 3DR. That's 3 Davis Racing. P13 is going to be Justin Byram out of Coast to Coast Sim Sports. P12 is going to be the Jamaican driver, Joseph Pratt. P11 is going to be Brandon Jones. In row number 5, you've got Jeffrey Hyatt and Zach Gold. Row number 4, you've got Jonathan Snyder, Justin Sick. P6, you've got Willie T. In P5, you've got Carson Jenkins. Row number 2 is going to consist of Samuel Lawson in that number 44 super late model. Zach Weisenfla in P3. And your pole row, Ian Lindell is going to be on the outside. Jesse Newsom is going to be your pole sitter for the penultimate race here tonight. We've got this to go, and then we have the feature. Can Jesse Newsom, who won the race last week, the opening round, he did it. Can he do it again? It starts right here. He has got to get into the feature. Jesse Newsom looking real good on this opening lap as he takes lap number 2. Zach Weisenfla, Ian Lindell. They keep driving like this, they will be good. Carson Jenkins as well. Samuel Lawson is in a little bit more danger. He is one spot in the clear. Willie T has the last spot out here tonight. Justin Sick is going to be your first driver out, which would be an absolute nightmare for the Midwest Sim Sports Camp. As we hop on board with Willie T here, we're going to see what it's like going around I-55 in a super late model. As I take that back, we are yellow. As it looks like Justin Sick has had a little bit of a moment. Go back and take a look. Midwest Sim Sports driver. Oh, unfortunately, just absolutely clocks the 54. Not entirely sure who that was. I think maybe that was Jonathan Snyder, maybe. Yes, it was. That was Jonathan Snyder. And oh, that is a 40. Not that 44. But that is going to be, I believe that is maybe Danny Miles. Not entirely sure about that. As we get set to go green here again. Now it was Samuel Lawson. Samuel Lawson went on his head for a second. Jesse Newsom takes the green flag. We only have 3 laps here left in this B main. As Jesse Newsom looks to come home a B main winner here tonight. He's going to take the white flag. As Carson Jenkins does have a little to say about it. He is not going to get it. 1/100th of a second separates Jesse Newsom and Carson Jenkins. Jonathan Snyder is going to be your last guy in, along with Ian Lindell, Willie T, and Zach Weisenfloh are going to be the ones who make it in. And as these drivers do their warm-up laps, I am going to take a step back, grab myself a drink, use the bathroom, and we will be back with main event action here at the DRT shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and that means it is time to go main event racing. 20 super late models. You know what that means. In P20, Jonathan Snyder. P19, Dylan Del Mastro. Row 9 is going to be Ian Lindell, Diesel Jones. Row 8 is going to be Willie T, that's William Thayer, and Mason Cassidy. P14 is Zach Weisenfla. P13, Nate Wimhoff. P12, Carson Jenkins. P11, Daryl Bass. P10, Jesse Newsom. P9, Scott Merrick. P8, Dees Price. P7, James Murphy. Zachary Metzner. K Walker. K-Dub make up row number 3. Hayden Tullison in P4. Robbie Buchanan Jr. in P3. Ethan Stuckwish P2. And your pole sitter for the feature here tonight in the number 8 super late model, Colton Jordan. These drivers are set to make some bit of history here tonight. We are yet to see what kind of history that is. Colton Jordan has the button. We are green for 60. And we are already under yellow. It's going to be Ian Lindell and Jonathan Snyder who allegedly got into it. Yeah, the 17 of Snyder, I believe, just got into the 55 of Ian Lindell, and that is the 54. No, okay, so that is Snyder, who absolutely clocks them. They're both going to have to use their wizard powers to get their car back into top form, aka a quick repair. And we are just about set to go green here. A caution, 2 corners in. That is typically how the online officials go if you're playing on the iRacing service and racing at I55. Hopefully, we do not see the same fate here. Colton Jordan already back on the button. We are green. Colton Jordan, oh, and that's going to be the 35 of, I believe that is Ethan Stuckwish, yes. He is going to get that corner all wrong. Zachary Metzner runs a purple lap with a 12.253. They are 3 wide behind Colton Jordan, that is Ethan Stuckwish, Hayden Tullison, and that is also Robbie Buchanan Jr., as the mint 17 of Dees Price, or sorry, not of Dees Price, that's going to be Zachary Metzner, getting into his own teammate Hayden Tullison. There's going to be talks in the Midwest Sim Sports camp about that. Rest assured, Robbie Buchanan sends an absolute laser around the corner on the outside of Ethan Stuckwish. As Robbie Buchanan Jr. is just going to pass him on the outside. Just clean as a whistle. That is just straight pace. Robbie Buchanan Jr. is absolutely rapid right now. He is 0.2 faster than the rest of the field right now. Already out to a 0.6 of a second lead. This This is looking more like Max Verstappen than it is dirt racing. As Colton Jordan currently sitting P4, down 3 spots. Him and Jesse Newsom are having a battle. The, I believe, C2C teammates. You can almost guarantee they're going to be looking for ways to help each other out tonight, advance them in the grid, see if maybe they can get a 1-2 lockout. As Robbie Buchanan Jr. has already taken this to a 1-second lead over Ethan Stuckwish, and the last thing he wants to see is that yellow flag. The track getting real slick, real quick in those corners. If you look at that, those drivers are going to have to essentially just search and go on a treasure hunt for some mechanical grip. As we are yellow again, the commentators curse. The SDK is going to say that is on Daryl Bass. We'll take a look. Yeah, he's going to get into the 17. And he is just going to return the favor, the 17. That's Mason Cassidy. Let's go back and take another look at this. That was just absolute tormentation. We saw them get into each other a little bit in the last corner. And then Mason Cassidy just straight up uses them as a wall. And sending Daryl Bass to the catch fence. However, not able to keep his car completely clean. So that was just a lose-lose situation on Mason Cassidy's part. That is not your best look there. As Robbie Buchanan Jr. has the button again, we go green flag racing, 17 laps in. Here we go. Ethan Stuckwish trying to get stuck in just somewhere. Trying his hardest to just find some way to outpace RBJ. As Colton Jordan is also trying his hardest to make something work. That's a teammate behind him and Carson Jenkins. They run the same number. They run the exact same paint. I'm not entirely sure why. But RBJ, Robbie Buchanan Jr. putting on an absolute masterclass here in Peevely. Colton Jordan, however, runs purple. That is a 12.109. That is going to be a good bit faster than Robbie Buchanan Jr., RBJ's fastest time. It's going to be just a little faster than Ethan Stuckwish's best time. As Robbie Buchanan actually just posted a 12.15, so he's getting close. Ethan Stuckwish going to try to rail it around the outside. He is not going to make it work this time. However, going for the move a second time. That is also not going to connect as we start to spread the field out just a tiny bit as we look up. Or look down, I guess I should say, from the DRT blimp. Colton Jordan beating the barrier down. K-Dub, who had quick time of the night in qualifying, Unfortunately, only able to scrap a P8 right now. There's still half the race to go. So maybe he can bring something back. Diesel Jones right behind him. He is going to be in P9. He's up 8 positions. Carson Jenkins, who started P12, is up to P3 like we talked about earlier. Jesse Newsom and Hayden Tullison here, the two that everybody thought was going to be battling for the championship this season. They're moving through the pack somewhat together. Rivals, but teammates right now as they try to navigate their way through the field. But one thing I don't think the DRT grid expected was this guy right here. RBJ finishing P2 in his debut last week. Now leading this race, the future in DRT looks bright for Robbie Buchanan Jr. Can he be the one to silence all the Jesse Newsom and Hayden Tullison hype and establish himself as the top guy here at DRT? We are currently coming up on back markers, so that will definitely play a part. Robbie Buchanan Jr. looking to get as smooth and easy of an overtake as humanly possible here, as he's going to try to go around Daryl Bass there. Unfortunately, just not able to make it stick right now, as he is going to choose to take that top side from Daryl Bass. A little bit of technical difficulty there on Robbie's end for once. Not ours. Not our technical difficulty here at Arsenal TV. Nope. For Robbie Buchanan Jr., we have got 20 laps to go coming up. Stretch this out to a 1.5 second lead over Carson Jenkins. Who Carson Jenkins is undeniably the driver of the day so far. I mean, up 10 spots from P12 to currently P2. Something has to be said about that. As Carson Jenkins just trying to make something happen, he is actually gaining on the leader RBJ, although it is very, very minusculely. Robbie Buchanan Jr. proving to have a little bit of difficulty with passing these back markers. There's Willie T. There's another Midwest car. I'm not entirely sure who that is. Maybe. As we are yellow, actually, as the 5 car is just going to back up into a whole fleet of traffic. We are going to see, I believe Scott Merrick is the guy here. No, that is not at all true. We're going to see Diesel Jones now, finally. I apologize. As he gets into the wall, coming around the corner. And it looks like maybe getting just barely into the 117 of, I believe, D's Price right there. And that's just going to upset the car. He's already got no front end. The number 3 car is just going to absolutely clock him after the unfortunate turnaround. And Diesel Jones has nowhere to go. He's just going to send it forward as fast as possible to cut out on all the chaoticness, all the action that's going to go down. If he doesn't move out of the way, that's 2 or 3 cars he could have got clocked by. So with that, Carson Jenkins got exactly what he wanted. Robbie Buchanan, not so much. However, Robbie Buchanan Jr. off to a fantastic start, considering there's no way his tires are of any use right now. As Robbie Buchanan looks to come around here, we are, what is that, 12 or 11 to go? Not 12 to go, I apologize. RBJ still firmly out in front. You see the DRT drivers beating the wall down on exit there. Coming out of turn 2. As we actually have a battle going on for P5 right now between the 2 longtime rivals in the DRT. The DRT is not anything without these 2 drivers going at each other's throats in the mini-series. And it's Hayden Tullison and Jesse Newsom. They're currently fighting over P5 as we are yellow again. This time it appears to be both the Zachs, Zach Weisenfla and Zachary Metzner. We'll have a look, of course. See Zach Weisenfla in that gold and blue 24. Yeah, unfortunately, that is going to be... I'm not entirely sure whose car that is in the green, but he is going to turn Weisenfla and just get into all over the front right of Willie T. He's going to go up the track and he's going to collect. That is going to be Zachary Metzner. That is not good for any party involved, as they're going to either have to use a quick repair, or if they already have, they're going to have to deal with the damage. So here we go, under 10 laps to go. I'm sure they will go to single file, as it looks like that is exactly what they are lining up to do. So a little bit more advantageous of a caution here for RBJ. A little bit of a disappointment if you're Carson Jenkins, because you got the start you definitely needed last restart. And with the caution flag coming out almost immediately after, that cannot be good for the mental of Carson Jenkins, who is only 1 spot away from completing a nice little 12th to 1st challenge. Put that on the TikTok. That would go what the kids call viral. As we get set here, Carson Jenkins going to take a way lower line than Robbie Buchanan Jr., which I do believe is allowed. However, there is another yellow flag. That is going to once again be Diesel Jones, as he did get his quick repair, but then just immediately runs into the back of, I believe that is Ian Lindell. Yes, it was Ian Lindell. Not Daryl Bass, I apologize. Diesel Jones. Just not the greatest decision making here tonight for that driver. As we get set, the DRT drivers are getting everything squared away to go green, ideally for the last time. As they're going to go one more time around this track. And then can Robbie Buchanan Jr. Can he complete the mission of becoming a DRT race winner? We are soon to find out. He is only 2 races into his DRT career. He got a 2nd place in his opening race. If he could come home with a win, and that's going to be the 2 number 62 cars. Dumb and Dumber, some might say. I just call them the 2 drivers in the 62 paint, but I have been hearing mumblings. That other name, that could be what they're being given on the social media. I've been hearing murmurs about it all over the DRT community. As we're not going to replay that because you guys saw it happen right in front of your eyes. So with that, we have some interesting things going on here. We do have Jesse Newsom currently in P3. Now, if that holds, if they give the positions back to the 262 cars, I don't know that yet, but if they don't, then Jesse Newsom is in P3, Hayden Tullison in P4, and your pole qualifier here for tonight, K-Dub, will be sitting very pretty in P6. So here we go. RBJ has the button. And there is only one thing on Jesse Newsom and Hayden Tullison's mind, and that is get to the front as quick as possible. RBJ has a very, very feisty Ethan Stuckwish hot on his tail, looking to make a move. Ethan Stuckwish pinning into that top cushion. I can't tell if it's speeding him up or slowing him down. He's going to try something on Robbie Buchanan Jr. That is going to be a little bit of an ambitious move. It was never going to stick from there, but he's got one set up nicely here. Turn 3 and 4. Here we come across the line. 3 laps to go. Ethan Stuckwish trying his best to make something happen, and we are yellow again. Carson Jenkins again in that 62 car. As that car, whose car is that? I'm sorry. I'm doing some research, gentlemen. I apologize. I'm not sure whose car that is, but that car has been in a lot of these replays, if you guys know what I mean. If you guys know what I mean. Not pointing any fingers. I would never do anything like that. Never anything such. I'm just pointing out what I've been seeing. And what I've been seeing is RBJ nearly having this thing locked in. We are green again. RBJ, Ethan Stuckwish is going to try his best to make a move. Nothing's going to come of it, I don't think. White flag in the air. We have a battle for the last podium spot between Jesse Newsom and Hayden Tullison. Hayden's got the bounce on him. An absolute criminally perfect. That was a perfect move there at the end of the race. I'll rewind it and show you guys. Hate to break the immersion here. I do apologize, but that was a world-class move from a world-class driver. He saw Jesse Newsom had the run, decided to hit the brakes, stick it on the bottom, knowing that's where Jesse Newsom was going to go. And Hayden Tollison, he is entitled. He had that corner. That's his corner. He's entitled to do whatever he wants in that corner. If he wants to ride it, if he wants to park it on the apex, that is completely okay. And that right there is what got Hayden Tollison that podium position. Wow, what a race. As we get ready for some interviews here, we've got our third place finisher, Hayden Tollison, the Big H. Mac up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hayden, it was a really eventful night for you, as nothing was really looking like it was going your way until that last restart, or maybe two restarts ago. I can't remember. You just kind of found yourself in a top 5 position and then drove like you stole it, ended up with the heist of the century on the last spot in the podium. What was going through your head?
Yeah, I got a little lucky there with that incident there. It's about 5 feet to go, somewhere around there, and I've been struggling these last 2 weeks. I don't know, just something ain't clicking right, and hopefully we can find some more speed, because the speed we have right now ain't good. And when you come back better next week, and hopefully get a win. It's getting pretty frustrating.
Yeah, but I mean, on the bright side, you did finish on the podium here tonight. Now, looking ahead towards the rest of the season, you do have a track coming up, Lernerville, which in the mini-series you did extremely good at. Is that something you are ready for? Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I really am. Lernville is one of my best tracks and one of my better tracks I run good at most of the time, and I've won a lot of top split races there, and I'm very confident that we'll have a winning car there.
That is good to hear, man. But, you know, enough about me asking questions. The floor is yours, man. Who do you want to thank for tonight's performance?
I just got to thank CFME Sports, Central CC Shop, Midwestern Sports, Tossline Repair, Toss Sports, VG Performance, Sport and Transportation, High Performance C, ShopFurry22.com. You putting this broadcast on, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I couldn't have said it better myself. Ladies and gentlemen, your P3 finisher for tonight at I55, Hayden Tollison.
Thank you.
And switching gears, we're going to bring in our P2 finisher, Ethan Stuckwish. Ethan, walk me through it, man. That was a chaotic last few cautions for you. Let me know how it went in your head.
Yeah, honestly, I I wasn't expecting that to happen. I saw Colton coming up and got on the brakes. So I was going to turn underneath him, and then I saw I saw Carson I saw Carson get turned and kind of thought I was screwed because the way I was angled. I was angled straight for his door, and then luckily I don't think I had nose damage after that, but I know I got into him pretty good there.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost like a battle in the trenches, it looked like, for some of that race tonight. But, you know, moving on, you got a really good points finish here tonight. Does that give you some sort of confidence heading into Lernerville next week?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I'll be honest. I hate Lernerville. I'm not a big fan of it. I've never been good there. Really, tonight I was just pacing myself behind Robbie, and then I know Carson got around me there, and then kind of just trying to pace myself. I've been doing a lot of practice all week, and found a setting I really liked, and I was thinking about changing it after warm up because I didn't feel too good, and then I was just like, just kind of stick with what I know.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Fair enough. The floor is yours, though, Ethan. You finished P2 here tonight. You had a wonderful drive. Who do you want to thank for tonight's performance?
Yeah. First and foremost, got to thank you for putting on the broadcast. Really, all the Midwest guys. I've learned a lot these past 2-3 weeks with just figuring out just setups to suit my driving style more. I've been making a lot of changes that kind of help me more than just running a baseline setup that I kind of have to drive. They've helped me a lot with getting a setup that I can drive. I know Hayden, Brandon, all them guys. They've been a big help. And then gotta thank Chase and all them guys for putting on this league.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree, and that sounds like a very good environment that breeds winning drivers. But ladies and gentlemen, that is Ethan Stuckwish, your silver spot finisher here tonight. And now bringing in our winner for the night, driving the number 31, RBJ. Robbie, how you doing, man?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Well, you said it last week. You hope to be talking to me some more when you finish second. This week, you come home the winner here at I55. Walk me through it. What did it feel like?
I mean, when they announced that it was going to be I55, I just kind of knew that I had a really good chance at winning. Just kind of depended on how the track was for the feature, as depending on what kind of air we're going to run and whatnot. But I mean, they made a really good call about the track. At the end, it was 2-lane racing. You could run middle or top, whatever you wanted to. But I'm more of a kind of bang it off the wall kind of guy and go. But yeah, I mean, it was a really good track.
Yeah, I agree. And when you stretched out that lead to, I believe it was 1.4 seconds at one point over Ethan Stuckwish, was there something in the back of your head that just kind of said, we're good, just kind of need to lock in and not mess anything up?
Yeah, I just knew because I was start of the race. I was trying to run middle and push the marbles up to the top because, like I said, I like to run on the top. So I knew once it kind of went to the top, I was just going to be kind of gone or to have a good margin lead. And kind of surprised me that it went middle 3 and 4. I thought it'd kind of run cut down 3 and 4. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I felt very confident coming into tonight.
Yeah, I mean, confidence, when you have speed like that, confidence is definitely going to breed itself naturally. But RBJ, you got it done in your second week as a DRT driver. The floor is yours. Who do you want to thank for tonight's performance?
Everyone at CFM Esports, Majority Speed Shop, Mid South Mafia Sim Sports, Leo's Roof and Service, just all the guys that help, Joey Lingron Photography, all the guys that's putting this on for us. It's a good league, bunch of good drivers, and you for the broadcast.
Hey, well, I appreciate that, and I'm sure everybody at DRT appreciates the love that you send their way as well. I'm going to let you celebrate. Pop the bottles. RBJ, you are a DRT race winner.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, I've had the schedule pulled up on the stream now since we started the interviews. You can get a good look at that to see where we go. Lernerville next week, and in 2 weeks' time, we'll be at Lucas Oil, and then Eldora for the next Crown Jewel event that I believe, don't quote me, but I believe we are going to have some money up for grabs at Eldora. So that will be a fantastic thing to see. Get one last look here at the schedule. You can also see it in the Discord, which when I hide this is right there, the bottom middle of the scoring, or of the result sheet, I should say. And walking through your finishers here tonight in the feature, we've got from bottom to top, Mason Cassidy, Scott Marek, Colton Jordan, Carson Jenkins, Daryl Bass, Jonathan Snyder, Zachary Metzner, Ian Lindell, Dylan Del Mastro, Diesel Jones, Zach Weisenfla, Nate Wimhoff, Willie T, part of Willie T Performance, Dees Price, James Murphy, K-Dub comes home P5, Jesse Newsom in P4, and then your podium sitters, you just heard from them. P3, Hayden Tullison, P2, Ethan Stuckwish, and your winner at tonight's race in I55, round 2 winner, Robbie Buchanan Jr. in that number 31 super late model. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up here. I have been your host, Mac Nelson, or the people on the internet call me Arsenal. This has been the DRT on Arsenal TV.